Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to another episode of the Most Offensive Podcast. I'm Slimmy V, and today I'm going to be talking about children who have died from committing suicide, okay, more so than have died from catching COVID. And I think the media, the news, the coverage, the journalism, the reporters, the news anchors, those people are not talking enough about it. They're not bringing it to light. And I think that's something that should be brought to the forefront and spoken about even more often today. These are children we're talking about. Children, teenagers. I remember this was March in 2020. Donald Trump warned us about children taking their own lives during the lockdowns. Let's take a listen. Before I do, please consider hitting that like button, share the video, and subscribe to my channel. Now, without further interruption, let's roll this little mini video clip.
President Trump warned that the country would see an increase in suicide.
This was kind of at the beginning. Why did he say that? I am going to kind of give you my opinion behind that right after this.
If the coronavirus shutdown continues to devastate the economy. His comments coming during a town hall Tuesday.
You're going to lose more people by putting a country into a massive recession or depression. You're going to lose people. You're going to have suicides by the thousands.
Trump said he wants to reopen the economy by Easter.
Okay. By the I don't know, by the thousands. I don't know what the numbers are. The CDC do have the numbers. There have been report on it, but did it go national? Was it talked about on the grand stages of like CNN on a 24-hour basis, like breaking news every single time something about Trump is spoken of, So was it spoken about in that manner? It was not. And suicide amongst children have been happening even before the pandemic. In 2019, report shows, but that's not something that was spoken of in the mainstream media. As the lockdowns happened, why would children want to commit suicide? Well, let's just say children are now in an environment. By being on a lockdown, you're stuck at home with possibly two parents who are bickering and arguing and fussing with each other 24/7. So you're around that environment. That can lead to depression. That can lead to anxiety. That can lead to feeling like you just want to take your life or not want to be in that area. What about if it's a low-income household where you don't have food? Whereas if you did go to school, you would have had proper nourishment, food, etc., right? What about rats, roaches, infested homes, dirty homes? Whereas where you in school, hopefully it is a cleaner environment where you can flourish there. It smells good. There's not roaches crawling around on your homework or rodents pissing everywhere, So you could see how that could lead to depression by locking down. You can see and think, this thing can affect kids. Now let's listen to what recently Rand Paul had to say. Let's check it out.
It can't be one person's opinion. We really need to be in a democratic republic, multiplicity of opinions that come together and somehow consensus forms government. And that's where we have to, I think, truly be be concerned with. One of the things about schools that I think puts it in perspective is that more children have died from suicide than from COVID. Can you imagine? And suicides are up.
That suicides are definitely up, and that is one of the things I don't like about let them play or let them learn is because parents, have reached out to me, and I don't say I don't like it. I don't mean it like that, but it's tough.
You've had to hear
it's
it.
tough. You hear. I grew up on a farm, so and.
All right. So you've heard it. You heard it. I don't know if that's a word, but you heard it here from Miss Dawn Perkins, who is admitting that suicides are up during this pandemic. Now, I went to Google and I did a search. Okay? In November 29, 2020, it says more people died from suicide in Japan in October than succumbed to COVID. Right? These are the headlines. Okay? New York Times reported surge of student suicide pushes Las Vegas schools to reopen. Okay? Suicidal thoughts are increasing in young kids by NBCnews.com, experts say. Escalating suicide rates among school children. Child suicides rising during lockdown, according to WebMD. Okay, so these things are happening. I did share with you, in my opinion, as to why it's happening. Imagine kids thinking about taking their own lives. Kids have not even lived a full life. They're not paying taxes. They're not paying bills. But yet they're thinking about taking their own lives. Think about that for 1 second. They have not even tasted the outside world. But they have a thought of going underground. Do they even know what it means to die? I don't even think they even know what it means to live. Trying to put all this into perspective and trying to make sense of it, you ask the question as to why would a child want to commit suicide? You would have to push this child so far to the edge where they would feel compelled to just take their life. Like, I can't even fathom the thought. I do not understand it. It makes me cringe to even think that a child would want to take their own life. Let's see what some psychiatrists had to say in the NPR. Child psychiatrists warned that the pandemic may be driving up kids' suicide risks. Why? Why are they saying this? Let's see. Quote. Anthony Orr was almost done with high school coursework when the governor of Nevada ordered a statewide shutdown of non-essential business on March 17, 2020. He was looking forward to all of the senior activities, prom, graduation, says his mother, Pamela Orr. But all he got was a mini graduation ceremony and only a handful of students walking wearing masks and at a distance from each other. That was the most we could do because of COVID, she said. Anthony graduated with honors as he had planned to, wearing a white robe and cap and advanced honors sash, says Pamela. But he decided against going to college. Right now, it's all online and you just lose the whole college experience, she says. Instead, he got a job working in construction. His parents thought he was doing fine. He seemed happy to us, said Pamela. He seemed happy. But in August of last year, Anthony died by suicide. When When Pamela and her husband Mark struggled to come to terms with their loss, his school district in Las Vegas is trying to come up to grips with the troubling statistics his death is part of. He was one of 19 students who died by suicide in the district since the shutdown last March. 13 of those deaths occurred since July. Now, let me add to my opinion as to why these things are happening. As you can see, the kid graduated. The lack of socializing with your friends, neighbors, going to school trips with your friends and stuff. Those are things that kind of makes you want to get out the house. Those are things that gives meaning to your life, that you want to actually live. Like, you cannot wait to go to school, to see your friends, to be around them, to do things with them. It gives you purpose. And without purpose, you lose hope in life and in yourself. You feel that you're not important. For that to happen to kids, to children, to teenagers, that is something really that should be investigated. Okay, these shutdown, as Trump said, they ignored Trump. They basically ignored Trump. Mainstream media ignored it. They didn't talk about the suicides with children and teenagers like they did about Trump and Russia. So this is definitely something I wanted to talk about. I'm not going to go too long into this. I definitely just wanted to shed light on it and to pray for the kids, to pray for the children, to keep them in your thoughts and in your prayers and in a positive state of mind, because what they face for the last 2 years, I would say, or last year and a half, has been horrific for children to face. Some people were born into this, right? So pray for the kids. These lockdowns was troubling. We should have opened by Easter. We should have. If we had 1 month of shutdown, opened up, all these things that happened may not have happened. So listen to what I said. The kids need to socialize. They need to go out. They need to be with their friends. They need to be in a clean environment. Okay? Understand that. Okay? Being at home, the environment may not be so clean. Okay? Parents may be arguing. Okay? Parents may be abusive. Parents may be sexually abusive. We don't know. When we had these lockdowns, what did we do to the children? What position did we put them in? Did we make things worse? Were they eaten? Were they sexually abused? Were they physically abused? Did they have a chance to socialize? The Zoom or these video conferencing thing fix everything? No, it don't. What did we essentially do to these kids? I'm going to stop. Because if I keep going, I could talk about this for like 3 hours. Let me hear your comments below. How do you feel that more kids, and when I say more kids, I'm talking about 18 and under, right, committed suicide more than those that died from COVID? Like, wow, is that? Look it up. If it's even close to it, that's still alarming. That's still alarming. Okay? Well, please look it up, fact check it, because if it's even remotely close to kids dying from COVID, it's still bad. That's not a good thing. So don't come up saying, oh, you're wrong. There's more kids that died from COVID than suicide. See, it's one less kid. That's still horrible. But look into it. Do the research, spread this thing around. Talk to your kids. Have a sit down with them. Ask them what are their thoughts? What are they thinking? How do they feel? Have a real sit down talk with your kids. I am no psychiatrist. I am not a therapist. I'm just a simple dude on YouTube with common sense. If you're not offended, you're not listening. I'm Slimmy V, and this is the most offensive podcast ever. God bless, stress less, and let Yahweh do the rest. God bless you. I'm out. Peace.